My name is Lisa Christie, Torreggiani, and I have two children. I have Luke, who is 12, and he's almost 13. He'll be 13 at the beginning of February. And he was born premature at 29 weeks. And I have a daughter, Ava, who's 10, who is full term. Well, I have to say, being with this group of women is humbling because my son didn't have significant health compromises when he was born. He was small, and we were in the hospital with him for 6 weeks. He was never intubated. He had oxygen, but he was breathing on his own for the most part. His biggest thing was that he just wouldn't gain weight, so he stayed in the hospital for a long time because of that. When he was first born, he had jaundice, which is really common for lots of babies, even full-term babies, but his was really severe, so he had to be under the billy lights pretty much all day, so I only got to hold him for 15 minutes a day when he was first born. And in some ways, I say because he was my first, it was a blessing because I really didn't have a lot of expectations. And as much as I planned everything, and was doing all the right things and whatnot, I am kind of a person that flies by the seat of my pants. So I was just like, well, I guess this is the deal. Had I had a baby prior to having him, in some ways I think it would be more traumatic because I would have had an expectation. But when I talked to other people that had premature babies, because I don't know anybody that did, I had my baby in Montreal, and we don't live in Montreal anymore, and I was in contact with one woman who was in the NICU. It does bring back lots of feelings, yeah. So, no, he's really healthy and he's doing fine now, but I know, having had a second child, that you miss out on so much, and you don't know. You're really at the whim of the medical profession, and you just do your best. In his first year, he definitely had complications. He had lots of respiratory problems. He ended up having a seizure disorder. So by the time he was 18 months, he was medicated for epilepsy. So there was there was stuff that happened, but developmentally, he had physical therapy, and he was delayed with a lot of his physical milestones, but he is doing very well now. I do feel strongly that I'm here because there needs to be more awareness. When I reflect on my experience, premature childbirth was never anything that entered my mind. So when I went into labor, I didn't have a nursery ready. I didn't have a name picked for my baby. I was in the middle of all kinds of work. I had this idea that I would, get my work all organized so I could have my mat leave, and so many insensitive things were said to me after my baby was home from the hospital, from a nurse asking me if there was dwarfism in my family, to going to mother-baby groups where all kinds of comments were made about the low birth weight or weight of my baby, and there's just no awareness. There's nobody really knows anything about premature babies. They sort of assume that you're going to have this small baby that's going to have compromised intellectual abilities. There really is very little information out there. I didn't know my baby was going to survive. I thought I was going to give birth to a baby that wasn't viable. So I had no idea. And I didn't say anything because I was too afraid to ask the question, and nobody said anything to me. So I think it's better to let women know this is a possibility. If you're at this many weeks, these are the risks. This is the chance of survival. If you're at this many weeks, it's fine. I mean, anything before 37 weeks is considered premature, but nobody knows what that means. So if you cannot be fearful and just celebrate no matter what, a life is a life.